Isn't that down on Rockside, or it used to be on Rockside?
It's an Independence at the top of the hill. It used to be at the bottom in the valley, but they moved it up.
To where?
Top of the hill. There's all those two like complexes at the very top of the hill if you're going up Rockside.
Oh, that's Valley View.
Yeah, Valley View.
Okay.
But if Mrs. Bankowski wants to go in, she can. We will kill the bill! 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 We will kill the bill!
How are you? I'm here representing the mayors of this county. And I say that in a way of this. All of them would like to be up here. And all of them would like to tell you, thank you for your support of issue 2. And they would like to tell you, I would really like to come out and say, I'm in favor of issue 2, but I got to work with these people. So folks, I'm here telling you the bottom line. When John Kasich was running for governor, many of us mayors got together and we encouraged him to deal with the issue of collective bargaining. He did. He said it during the campaign, and he meant what he said. What I find to be incredible in our community is this. We have a couple candidates running for school board who want to get rid of the steps for teachers. They want to get rid of some of the incentives for teachers. And their signs are appearing in Brecksville in various locations. And guess what sign next to it? No on 2. It's incredible. Why would you want to say no to 2, but yet support candidates that want to really do some things that John Kasich in the legislature had no idea and no thought of doing? It's just rather incredible. People do not understand the issue. They do not understand the issue. They think that when they call a policeman, he will not come. They think when they call a fireman, he will not come. They think All of these things because of the media campaign that's out there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not an attack on the middle class. This is to help the middle class. And I'll tell you, this governor needs our support. You read in the Plain Dealer today, if any of you read the Plain Dealer, you read it today, for the first time they came out with something that made sense. What would happen if it fails? If you read it, they're right on the money. We're going to have to lay people off. We're going to have to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. It's going to be very, very difficult, and it all can be solved by two. So get out the vote. We've got to get two passed. And I'm telling you, there is a majority of people that are out there, that silent majority, that don't have signs up, that do not go out and support this issue outside, but in their heart they do. And I hope it's in all of your hearts. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Roman.
Thank you, folks. Good afternoon. I'm the president and CEO of the Greater Cleveland Partnership, which is our regional chamber of commerce. And I only have a couple of points to make, but I really do want to express how proud the business community in this region is to have been a part of this bill. And we endorse Issue 2 and Senate Bill 5, not because of politics, but because we've done our homework. When we started to look last year at the budget challenges for this state and how we could make sure that our communities could remain safe and remain competitive, we knew that the tools that are included in Issue 2 and Senate Bill 5 was exactly what we needed, just as the mayor commented on before. Change is going to be hard. Change takes a long time, but change is going to happen. We prefer that change be competitive communities, not communities that can't keep their businesses in Ohio. That's what it is. And that's what the second comment I'd like to make is, again, similar to the mayor, is we really appreciate the governor's leadership on this. We too know how many elected officials running our communities know that these are the tools they need. They're just not here with us today. But we know, again, to remain competitive, that's what they have to do. The very same things that our business members started to do years ago. Ask people to pay a part of what their benefits were all about, because in reality, you all know this, when you got some skin in the game, you're a little bit more careful. You take care of yourself a little better, and at the end of the day, it saves everybody money. And in this case, it saves our communities and taxpayers. That's why we've been so supportive. Lastly, just a quick little story before I introduce the person after me. I sort of chuckle. We've all been watching the commercials and the ads. And I sort of chuckle every time I see the one that speaks to making sure our police and fire forces are able to make sure we have enough people on staff to protect us and so forth. And here's why I chuckle. This summer, I unfortunately hit a deer coming home from work one day. And by the time I called in, I didn't know if I needed a police report, but I called in. I thought maybe my insurance company would be proud of me. So I called in, asked for a police report, said no one was hurt, sent all the folks in the car home. I was that close to home. And by the time I got done, 13 uniformed professionals had showed up at that deer accident. Folks, the deer wasn't that big. Okay. So I don't know what happened or who took the deer after I left, but I sort of chuckle every time I see that ad, so I hope that story at least resonates with some of us. So anyway, thank you for allowing me to come and speak today. The business community is very, very supportive. And as evidence of that, I'm going to introduce Jack Schron to come after me. Jack is the CEO of Juergens Industries, a major company in our region. And another reason why we should step up and thank Jack is he was also one of the few people in business who decided to run for one of our new county council jobs. And so he represents us as a business member on our new Cuyahoga County Council. So let me introduce Jack, he's right behind me. Thanks, Jeff.
This is exciting. Thank you, everybody, for being part of the support team for where we're going with issue 2. We're going to get it over the goal line. I know we are with this enthusiasm. A lot of success is going to be all out there for everybody. What I want to do is just mention a couple things because I've had a chance to be involved with some areas where issue 2 was directly relevant in what I've done. And I want to thank everybody for being part of District 6, which is where we are. The success that we're experiencing in the county, I think are going to all get multiplied as a result of passage on issue 2. I spent 12 years in the Chemung Falls Board of Education, and it was a great experience. And what I learned by that is I wish, as a school board member, as we heard, we would have had the tools that issue 2 provides that are going to be available. Because we, as a community, need those every single place in the state of Ohio. One of the things that we experienced when I was on the Board of Education, we had some teachers that were a challenge. There's no question about it. The teachers union knew it. They knew exactly that there were problems out there. And what did they do? They would not help us get rid of those teachers because they indicated that seniority was the key component that they needed to support. I saw a lady out with an issue 2 no button on the other day in our community, and I said to her, you remember when we were on school board, how nice it would have been to be able to identify some of those teachers to be able to make constructive change. Her response was, well, gee whiz, I'm not sure I can go that way. Then my question was, if that was your child or your grandchild in front of that teacher, and they knew exactly who we were talking about, an alcoholic problem, would you want your child or grandchild to be in front of that teacher? Or would you prefer it to be the most senior teacher in the school district? She stopped and thought, you could see the face on her answer was on her face, that of course, she wants the best, most enthusiastic, most qualified teacher. Then I asked her a simple question about if you had a safety issue, and you know that we had some levy campaigns in our area for our public safety. You want the most qualified police officer, the one who's in shape, capable of being out there, being able to save that safety problem, or you want the most senior person out there providing you that security. And the same thing, I see one of our brothers here in the fire department. I asked the same question. If that was your grandmother up there in that room that needed to be saved, you want the best qualified, the most capable, the most knowledgeable in all the experiences, or the most senior person. All we're doing is saying, provide us with the tools. In my new responsibility in county government, as far as down in the county council, one of the things we had an opportunity to do was to talk to and interview all of the people coming in the senior positions, one of which was Sheriff Reed. I asked Sheriff Reed, point blank, under testimony, would you like to have the tools that Senate Bill 5, Issue 2 provides? And he said unequivocally, on the record, absolutely. Will you see him carrying a sign? Probably not. The same thing we heard out there because it puts it in an uncomfortable position. But it's on the record. He testified that way accordingly when asked the tough questions. And kind of one of the things that I found to be the most interesting here recently in my new role in county government is we did a straw poll back in February when Senate Bill 5 was coming down. And the straw poll was one in which, would you be supportive of it or would you not be supportive of it? And I guess you probably wouldn't have any doubt as to where I was from that point of view. But my colleagues were not supportive of the concept. And I wasn't surprised at that, but as we went along, just last week, we passed, for the first time, approval of a major union contract, over 1,000 employees, and we changed from 7.5 participation in health insurance to 10%. Now that's not obviously where Senate Bill 5 is and issue 2 is, but they moved from 7.5 to 10%. My colleagues supported it 100%. Every single person, including the county executive, supporting this and saying it's a good thing that we're moving in this direction. I can tell you my company and probably every one of the private businesses out here, we participate probably to the tune of around 20% participation. It's the norm on health insurance. I said it's a great start. I'm pleased that you did that, but had Senate Bill 5, Issue 2 been in place on just this one contract for 1,000 people, it would have saved the county government $406,000 per year for just 1,000 of our 8,000 employees. $1.2 million would have been available for hiring more fire department, for hiring more police, for hiring more sheriffs, for hiring the teachers that would have all been part of our system out there as part of the system as we go forward. It would have been out there for our health and human services and all those things. So if we can save potentially $406,000 with just one piece of this, can you imagine what it would be if we had that out there as far as competitive? So with that, it's going to take a lot of us all supporting behind this. I think we're right at the edge of passing this thing. It's going to be exciting. And with that, I know that Rob Frost, our chairman of the Republican Party, is going to fire you up because he's going to tell you what the next step is and what you need to do. Rob Frost, come on up.
Thank you, Jack Brown. Jim, how are you? Good to see you all. Wow, what a great crowd. Thank you all for coming down to Independence tonight. And thank you to the City of Independence for being such great hosts to us. You know, there are a lot of people out there, particularly some of those university pollsters, they want you to think this thing is over. Well, let me tell you, this thing's a long way from over, and we've got a lot we need to accomplish in these next 5 days. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about. That's why we're down here on the Thursday before Election Day. See, what we know how to do is how to get a message through to our friends and neighbors. And I want to ask you that if you've got, how many of you have a colored piece of paper, maybe a red or an orange or a green piece of paper, a volunteer sign-up sheet? If you got one of these, please make sure you fill that out and drop it in the box on your way out. Let us know what you're able to do to help us and be on the grassroots mobilization team. If you didn't get one, make sure you get one out of the table. Sign on up, because we need you. When we hear those messages out there, the articles that are written on this, you know, see, I think a lot of you already know some of the things we're here talking about tonight, why we need issue 2 to pass. But we need you to help convey that message out and cut through the clutter and get it to your neighbors and get that information to your friends, because they're confused. They may not know yet how they're going to vote. And if you'll just take the time to give them a call, or to go talk to a neighbor, maybe take them a piece of literature, or you know what, even better, we've got a plan for you on doing that. If you'll come down to our Victory Center right here in Independence on Oak Tree Boulevard, we'll put you to work for a 3-hour shift. I bet you can get 100 calls made, and you can help us reach 100 people. And if you'll stop by the table on your way out and see Dave Zupan, he's got a little stack of literature and a rubber band he's holding up right on over here. How many of you would like to take a good brisk 30-minute walk this weekend? Maybe hand out a few of those to some of your neighbors. Get some of those from Dave on your way out. Hand them out in your neighborhood. Not just one piece of literature that you get to one neighbor, but think about covering your whole street or getting on down through your neighborhood, because we're coming into these final 5 days to what we know is our 72-hour program. Because we know in all the numbers that we see, everything on issue 2 comes down to who will get out and vote on November 8th. And you here tonight are going to be able to help determine who gets out and votes by the message that you're able to help us deliver. And by the way, this is something we're going to need to continue on as we go on into 2012 and beyond. We've got to build this team to show the people in Cuyahoga County and Ohio that we care about the future of Ohio, and we want to preserve the quality of our communities here. Now, there's another message that you all can help me to deliver, and that's a message of thanks. That's a message of thanks to the two people who I'm going to introduce to you next, who are going to come up onto this stage to talk to you for a little bit. And so, after we get going with a little bit of music here, just to keep you in suspense, just to build the anticipation, I'm going to ask you that when I introduce our next two speakers, that you give them the heartiest thank you you can give. Somebody peeking out behind there? You know what? Do we need any music? I'm going to ask you to show me how loud you can cheer to thank our governor and lieutenant governor when I bring them out here. And I'm going to do that in a minute. Let me hear how loud you can be able to cheer when they come out.
That's much better than the booze I got coming into the room.
They don't vote.
Pardon me?
They don't vote.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You know, I was thinking this week, you know, it was a year ago this week, you guys helped elect John Kasich and Mary Taylor. And we haven't forgotten why you sent us to Columbus, to fix the mess that Governor Strickland gave every single Ohioan. And that's what we're doing, and that's why we once again need your support. This is very important. You know, we went to Columbus, we faced an $8 million budget hole, we filled that budget hole, we balanced our budget. We didn't raise taxes. You know why? Because that's the last thing you need in this state. We cut taxes, we eliminated the cut tax. And through CSI, we're getting the regulations off the backs of our small business owners so you can create jobs once again here in Ohio. We know, and I know you think oftentimes when you hear that word CSI, it's Common Sense Initiative, you think of a TV show. CSI in Ohio is not a television show, but I can tell you every day we're doing investigations of job-killing regulations to get rid of those rules and regulations so you can be successful right here in Ohio. The governor's been traveling all over the state asking for the support of Ohioans in every corner because you know what? We know the impending financial crisis that our communities are going to face, our school districts are going to face, if we don't change the way we do things in our state. We're asking for reasonable reforms. We're asking for 15% on the health care, asking for everybody who works in the government to pay 10% towards their pension. Those of you that work in the private sector, you would love to have those low numbers, right? Yeah. How many years have they been since you've seen those numbers? So we need your help. Same thing I said a year ago. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family. This is an important issue for Ohio. It's an important issue for our families, for our children. We have to preserve, protect, and defend the American dream right here in Ohio, and you can help us do that by voting for issue 2. Okay, last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to bring the governor up to tell you, let him talk to you about what he's been saying all over the state of Ohio. I see a lot of signs that say vote yes on issue 2 and 3. Obamacare is an unprecedented threat on our freedom and our economy and our entrepreneurs here in Ohio. So we need your support and we need your help. But we mostly need your help getting Ohio government back on track, and you can do that by voting yes on issue 2 and by making sure you talk to all your friends, your neighbors, and your family. and you tell them how important this issue is for our state and for our children. So without further ado, let me bring up the governor of the great state of Ohio, John Kasich.